Hello everyone, I'm Sukanya and today we are here to understand the correct approach for AILET 2025 English section. I'm sure that you have numerous questions regarding how to study the English section, especially when it comes to AILET 2025, right? So that's the reason why we will be delving into the A to Z of this matter today in this session. So the first thing that we are going to see here is the exam pattern. Now, what makes AILET different from CLAT? In CLAT, we kind of anticipate somewhere around 24 to 26 questions. On the contrary, AILET has 50 questions, and 50 questions is what makes it more challenging as well as tasking. The next important thing is duration of the entire paper. You get 120 minutes in CLAT as well as in AILET both. But the thing is, how much time should you, allocate when it comes to the English section in AILET? So in AILET, 45 to 50 minutes should be your, target time, and 50 should be considered as the upper limit. So even when you're practicing mocks or giving your previous year's AILET papers, please make sure that you do it in a time-bound fashion. The next important detail is which college does AILET target? So I hope by now you already are aware that AILET targets NLUD, whereas when it comes to CLAT targets actually multiple colleges, multiple NLUs all over the country. Okay, so the number of seats is also less for AILET. The competition is more, and I would say that comparatively, AILET is more difficult than CLAT. So moving forward, don't worry about anything. I'll walk you through how you can become better at preparing English section. So yeah, moving forward to the next slide, let's try to understand what exactly I would say comprehensively incorporate the syllabus when it comes to AILET. So it's again not very different from CLAT because the paper pattern is same because the entire paper comes in the same format as CLAT. That means you will get reading comprehension primarily. But reading comprehension also has several other elements. For example, vocabulary is a very much integrated part of AILET exam. Similarly, grammar is a very important part when it comes to AILET. So as you can see, these are few topics which if you prepare from the very beginning, you will have a better hold on your concepts. So reading comprehension, obviously, the second one is vocabulary. One cannot I would say one cannot expect to understand a text if they do not have decent vocabulary. So the first thing that you need to start working on is vocabulary on a regular basis. The next important thing is grammar. Inferential questions also play a pivotal role. So inferential questions are the ones which are indirectly implied. Now this is again in the format of reading comprehension, which you will see in the paper. The next type of question that you might come across is sentence completion and correction. Sentence completion and correction, they will find like they will give you a sentence probably right out of the passage, and they will ask you whether there is any grammatical error in any particular part of that sentence, and you are supposed to find out the erroneous part. And in sentence completion, they might give you a scenario or probably two or three sentences, and now you are supposed to figure out what could be the next best thing from the given options. So that is sentence completion and correction. Synonyms and antonyms, which is again very much a part of vocabulary. Adjectives, word usage, nouns and pronouns, these are all part of your grammar. Foreign words and phrases. Foreign words and phrases is common in CLAT as well as AILET. So start preparing as soon as you can. And the last one is parajumbles. Now, parajumbles is not something which you frequently see in CLAT, but in AILET, you can definitely expect at least one question out of that. Okay. So when you'll go through previous year papers of AILET, you will see that they, kind of have a mixed bag of different types of questions there. So this is one of the question that is usually anticipated. The next one is, yeah, so a word of caution for everybody, beware. AILET is something which is, first of all, well known for its unpredictability. So sometimes it is an exact copy of CLAT examination where you get all the questions in the format of reading comprehension. Sometimes yeah, it may so happen that you might get a passage and they might ask you questions of both the English section as well as logical from the same passage. So that's what has happened in the previous year. Okay, I think not in the previous year, but last to last year. Moving forward, Always be prepared for the unpredictable when it comes to AILET. Do not be, I would say, shell shocked if the paper pattern is changed a little bit. Okay, वो कितना ही चेंज कर लेंगे पेपर में, तो ये समझना पड़ेगा तुम लोगों को. रीडिंग कॉम्प्रहेंशन तुम साल भर पढ़ रहे हो, वोकैबुलरी पढ़ रहे हो, ग्रामर पढ़ रहे हो, तो उसमें बस यही होगा कि क्वेश्चंस का स्टाइल थोड़ा सा डिफरेंट होगा, बट अदर देन दैट देयर इज नॉट गोइंग टू बी अ मॉन्यूमेंटल चेंज देयर. ओके, सो first of all, one thing that you need to keep in mind is never to lose your cool. Okay, so moving forward to the next part, how to prepare for the English section. Now, what are the do's when it comes to the English section? The first thing is you need to make your newspaper your BFF. Now, the sooner you start reading the newspaper and the easier it is for you, I think probably it's going to help you in several other parts of your AILET preparation as well. Okay, so make newspaper your BFF. Specifically, never skip the opinion pieces. The opinion pieces actually will help you to better your understanding. Okay. The next one is solve previous year AILET papers, sample papers, mock tests. Again, more the merrier. The more papers you solve, the better understanding you have of the format, and the better prepared you are of, I would say, things which might change on the day of the exam, right? So the third one obviously is inculcating a reading habit. Now, the entire paper is kind of reading based, and if you're not somebody who likes to read, this is your cue to kind of change your previous bad habits and become a reader instead. So, inculcate a reading habit. Diversified reading will always take you places. Why diversified reading का मतलब होता है reading of different genres. So, there are genres such as history, literature, uh, art and culture, science and technology, geopolitics. And if you are somebody who reads in a varied manner, automatically you have knowledge of plenty of subjects, which are, probably the hot topics. And that is exactly the area from where they can ask you passages and questions. The next one is strengthen grammar basics. Now, grammar is that one part where if you are conceptually very, very clear, then it saves you a lot of time, right? So, grammar is one topic where I would say the more practice you do, the better you get. And secondly, the more judicious you become about your time, because it kind of saves you a lot of time on the whole. So that's why it's very, very important to strengthen your grammar basics. Enhancing vocabulary is again a part and parcel of AILET examination. Okay. And that is exactly something which you should never ignore. So from the day one onwards, you should start working on your vocabulary very, very religiously. Regular reading comprehension practice. Again, practice makes a man better. You already know that, right? The more diversified reading you get done, the more diversified passages you get solved, automatically will give you a better sense of understanding and better sense of, I would say, confidence. The next one is familiarize yourself with idioms and phrases. Now, this is again a part of vocabulary. So, when I talk about vocabulary, vocabulary में बहुत सारी चीजें आती है, जैसे synonyms, antonyms हो गए, idioms and phrases हो गए. Then there's also phrasal verbs. There's also foreign phrases that is a part of vocabulary. So, when you start familiarizing yourself, for example, two to three proverbs or idioms a day, automatically then that does not appear as a big task on the day of the exam. रोज अगर हम थोड़ा थोड़ा पढ़ के चले तो automatically every drop does make the ocean, right? So moving forward, understanding literary devices is imperative. Literary devices, as in the poetic devices or figures of speech that you must have learned in school, alliteration, onomatopoeia, simile, metaphor. Again, जितने ज़्यादा इसके एग्जाम्पल्स देखोगे, जितने ज़्यादा एक्सरसाइजेस सॉल्व करोगे लिटरेरी डिवाइसेस पे, ऑटोमेटिकली तुम्हारा टाइम बहुत ज़्यादा बच जाएगा. एंड सेकेंडली, यू विल बी वेरी एक्यूरेट व्हेन यू अप्रोच द पेपर, right? So it gives you that precision. Moving forward, practicing diversified reading. As I've already told you, there's no substitute to diversified reading. So go for magazines such as Reader's Digest, go for Open Magazine or The Wire, or maybe you can go for something like The Frontline or The Outlook. अगर तुम लोगों को online reading नहीं पसंद तो offline के मैंने इतने सारे तुम लोगों को sources बता दिए. So you can go for that when it comes to diversified reading. Again, in the next slide, I have mentioned certain sources that you can definitely look into. So for grammar and vocabulary, Word Power Made Easy by Norman Lewis. Now this is one book which if you get done like at least twice before the examination, I think most of the things you've already got covered. Then there is Objective General English. Now, this will help you with grammar. It also has passages. And then there is obviously Wren and Martin, High School English Grammar and Composition. Now, Wren and Martin, I generally like recommend it to people who are already very adept when it comes to grammar. But if you are somebody who's just starting out, then obviously do not directly jump into reading and understanding Wren and Martin because that's going to pose a really big problem for you. So go for something like Objective General English, and once you feel that you have a solid footing, then you can move to more difficult things. Then, for reading comprehension practice, you can go for Reading Comprehension by R.S. Agrawal, and the next one is Verbal Ability and Reading Comprehension for CAT. Now, this book, although is meant for CAT aspirants, but this is very helpful for AILET preparation as well. That's the reason why I have mentioned it here. So that's it from my side. I hope you have now a better overview and a better idea as to how to start preparing for your AILET journey. So all the very best, and I'll be seeing you soon. Bye bye.